And good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the ACHA Power Play Live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network, on YouTube, and of course on our Facebook page, which is the Captain Lou Extravaganza. And as always, we're live on X at the Real Captain Lou. We invite you to follow us on those pages, and also, more importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Captain Lou Sports Network. You get all of these great episodes that we have on the network, including season 10 of the ACHA Power Play. 16th episode here as the road to St. Louis is gearing up, as we are I'd say about 6 weeks and 2 days. So we'll say 38 days to puck drop to the national tournament down in St. Louis. Can't wait to see everybody down there as well. We got a great show planned for you here tonight. Coming up here momentarily, the head coach of the Division II Arkansas Razorbacks, Keller Sims. Of course, they won the inaugural Southeastern Frozen Showcase down in Nashville about 3 weeks ago. So we'll talk to him about that and everything going on with Razorback hockey. And then at the bottom of the hour, Craig Barnett, the executive director, fresh from his trip with the D2 select team overseas. He's going to stop by and join us as well. All right, without any further ado, let's bring him in. He is the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, the Hogs, who were the initial champions of the Frozen Showcase down in Nashville, Keller Sims. Keller, as I understand, you're surviving in Arkansas. It seems like it's hitting everybody pretty hard.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Lou. It's been uncharacteristic kind of winter weather for us here. About 10 inches of snow, but we're making it inside, staying warm, getting the roads cleared off, and hopefully, we'll be able to have a practice tonight, get back into things.
So I want to talk about the showcase. It was great to be down there to be able to bring the games, and it was such an exciting atmosphere there, and it was great to see the Southern teams coming back into the ACHA, and it was fun to have you guys as a part of it as well. I know you still were in the ACHA, but just a great setting down in Nashville back the weekend of January 10th.
Yeah, it was really exciting to, have that all come back together, to have a lot of those SEC teams come back into the ACHA. A lot of us haven't met on the ice since, I guess that would have been 2020, right before COVID. And then to have, things change like they have now, University of Texas, Texas A&M joining the fold. It was a great weekend for our players and, hockey in the South in general.
Yeah. So how long have you been at the D2 level now, Keller?
This is our second season at D2.
Yeah. It's what's been the biggest adjustment coming up from D3?
Yeah, I think, the speed of the game, it's faster. The mistakes, especially when you're playing against top competition, the mistakes are magnified. So it's definitely, we had to pick up our speed. We had to play with a little bit more structure and discipline than maybe we could have got away with at the D3 level.
One of the things that I noticed that has stuck with your philosophy, maybe back when watching you guys play, in the national tournament at the D3 level, is you guys aren't afraid to put the puck in the net. And in that showcase, my goodness, you averaged 7 goals a game. What was the elixir for that weekend?
Yeah, I think, going into it was just a mindset of, getting pucks into the offensive end and then putting pucks on net, whether it was, on the rush or maybe a puck retrieval and getting it up to the D with us, getting a shot through traffic. We've just really emphasized trying to, test goalies and teams early, coming off of the winter break, and being aggressive in our mindset. I think we were able to do that, all 3 games, and, ended up showing for us in our results.
It's funny is Andy Petzinger and we were talking about that before everybody's first game, really. A lot of teams hadn't played in a while, and we were wondering how the rust was going to be. And I got to give you credit, Keller. It didn't show in you guys. You didn't show much rust at all coming into that first game.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we were lucky. We came back. We committed. The guys all committed to coming back a few days early from their break. We were able to get on the ice 4 times, in a couple of days, and just knock off that rust, kind of get a feel for it again, get the competition going, and then I think it shows, especially on that Friday game for us, just to jump right back into it without that rust being there.
Head coach Keller Sims from the University of Arkansas men's D2 program joining us here on the Power Play on this Tuesday night, where it's frigid everywhere throughout the country. I don't know if it's going to get above 10 degrees here until next week, but hey, whenever you talk hockey, it makes things warm up real fast. I got to bring up Cole Helms with the start he had in his first 2 games. I think he had, what was the first one? He had 6 assists. Have you ever seen someone get 6 helpers in one game like that? 6 or 7? It was crazy.
Yeah, that was quite a moment, making his presence known. He just sees the ice really well, and he has a great chemistry with his line mates. Mac Markovich, the center of that line, they grew up playing together. They've been best friends since they were yay big. Wow. And it shows. And yeah, he jumped right in and made his presence felt right away.
Yeah, and you look at their stats. I mean, Cole's got 34 helpers, and then you talked about, Mac is right there with 39 points. You got a lot of guys that can put the puck in the net. It looks like you can send out 4 lines without even batting an eye.
Yeah, I think that's probably been one of our biggest assets this year is our depth. We like to roll through our guys, give everybody an opportunity to feel the game. And then, when it comes down to crunch time, it may be a different group of 5, 10 guys making an impact each day. And, I think you look at our point totals there, we have everyone kind of carrying their portion of the rope and chipping in on both ends of the ice, offensively and defensively.
Throughout the year with looking back at some of your games, and of course, in that weekend tournament that I keep bringing up, it's when you played Missouri, you gave up a couple of goals, but you didn't get rattled. And then and the same thing with Texas A&M. And it just that's a testament to their discipline on the ice as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of that Missouri game went our way early on. I think it's a testament how we played. I think we were definitely guilty on our bench of losing focus and kind of looking on to, the matchup with Texas A&M on Sunday. They scored those 2 goals to pull it a little bit closer than we'd like. Had a timeout there and just said, hey, 5 minutes left or 6 minutes, whatever it was, like we need to finish the job. And they rallied and came back together and got refocused. And I think it says a lot for where their headspace is at going into this kind of postseason push at this time of the year. And just a couple more comments on that tournament. I have never been a part of a weekend or a couple of days worth of games where there were so many 2 and 3 goal leads that were blown. And it just seemed like, I don't know if that was because of rust or whatever, but it just seemed like whenever someone got a 2-game lead, we were kind of looking at each other up there like, this ain't safe. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was definitely, part of our conversation on Sunday, because we were all sitting in the stands and watched what Texas A&M was able to do to Georgia the night before that. So it was definitely fresh in our minds, and, it was crazy. Out of all of those games, how many of them finished with a different result than you would think with 10 minutes left in the third period?
So now that's in the rearview mirror. Obviously, you're looking ahead to February for the regionals, but I see last weekend the weather and whatnot caused you to postpone the game. And now this weekend, you're not going to be able to play. What's on your agenda now? Are you going to try to reschedule those games from last weekend?
Yeah, unfortunately, we were kind of right up against it with our conference tournament and the final day for rankings. So we'll be off this weekend, and then we'll head off to St. Louis next weekend for our conference tournament, the ACHA tournament, where we'll have Iowa, I believe, on Friday night.
Okay.
And I think our boys are really looking forward to that. Obviously disappointed, to lose that series against Maryville. That was their number 9 team. Mm-hmm. A lot of our guys are from St. Louis. There's a lot of crossover from where those guys have played in the past. So always fun when we get on the ice with them. So definitely bummed to not have hockey, but really looking forward for a chance to kind of repeat as conference champions this season.
So yeah, that means you guys are going to be the hunted instead of the hunters as you were last year, huh?
That's right. Yeah, I think I keep trying to put that in our boys' ears and in the back of their heads, like, hey, you're not flying under the radar this season anymore. So they've got to be ready for it when it comes playoff time.
So I don't know if I've talked to you since. I know you've been on the show before, but I just want to go back just to talk to you about those runs you had at the D3 level when you made it, up in Grand Rapids, when you made it all the way to the finals, and then the following year you got close. I know you didn't get the ultimate prize, but tell us a little bit about the experience of that for you. That had to have been pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think, each one of those runs is different. Each team is different, but also just a different mentality. I look back on that first year where in Grant, we made it all the way to the championship game. Maybe it wasn't expected of us, and it was kind of a deer in headlights moment when you run into Hope College, who's been there multiple times before. But it was a learning experience for us, and I think, we had a large group of young guys at that time, a lot of freshmen on that team. And then I think it bled into the success that we had, a couple of national semifinals and a heartbreaking run to tie Lawrence Tech in our last year at D3. But I think, that was really the foundation. Like, it takes this much to win. You have to, minimize your mistakes. You can't take these penalties. You have to capitalize on your opportunities. So not just for our players, but for me, it was a huge learning experience that really built a lot of the long-term success that we had over those next 5-6 years.
And one of the things I take away from whenever you guys at a tournament is how well you guys travel. The amount of fans that come, no matter where you go, it is so awesome to see and hear that.
Yeah, I think, everyone around here is hog crazy, right? We get great fans at home and on the road. I think our social media team has done a good job of blasting out where we're going to be. So whether it's, St. Louis, Grand Rapids, I know when we were in Boston a few years ago at Nationals, I had hog fans coming up to me like, oh, we're so excited you're here. I graduated from school 20 years ago. It's special for our fan base to support us like they do. It's cool.
So what's been the biggest pleasant surprise for you this year with the boys?
Yeah, I think pleasant surprise has just been how our groups come together. Transition years for last season, first year at D2. This year, not as many new faces, but guys coming in and like Cole Helm. First year with the program, Bryson Anderegg, they played at high levels and came in and took some jobs. But, our group has gelled really well. We're motivated, and everybody really, especially, after the success we had in the SEC tournament, has really bought into what it takes to get it done at the end of the season.
And then conversely, what do you think the boys might have to work on to keep it going as you head towards ultimately the regional tournament? Now, you guys are in the Central region, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Buzzsaw.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, what do you think of the new rule this year where the top two teams don't get a bye, that they have to play the two games as well?
Yeah, I liked the buys. Obviously have not ran into that at the Division II level, but we did see it a lot at the Division III level before it went to the top 25 format. I like that, the regular season means something. If you earn that 1 or 2 seed, you don't have to play in the regional tournament, which in the Central region is honestly, stacked from top to bottom if you look at it. But then also there's the added part of that too, where in the old format, if you were a 3, 4, 5, 6, you also didn't have to play the first day of regional. So there was still that reward for being a top team, playing a tough schedule, and winning your games when it came to an advantage in the postseason. Whereas now, if you show up with bus legs as a 1, 2, or 3, and the other team is ready, that's it. And so I don't know if it necessarily gives us the best product at the end of the season, but we'll see how it goes. I'm sure there's going to be some upsets over the next, in a few weeks when we hit regionals in all the regions, and time will tell.
It's always it always seems like that. There's always upsets in those regional tournaments. I can remember D3 and also D2. So yeah, indeed, time will tell. Last question for you. I forgot. I got one more from the tournament. How come we didn't see you out there with the trophy doing the Angus Young on the ice?
Oh man, that moment there, that's for the boys. That's for the players. They go out there and they bleed and they sweat for it. And I'll hold the guitar, get my picture an hour later. But that celebration on the ice is for them. And I know I don't think they really, it was sitting there as you walked in every day. But I don't think they really processed what that trophy was until he walked out on the ice with it and you could see their face. And I think they loved it. I think it's such an incredible trophy, that really symbolizes the city of Nashville and then hockey in the South. So I thought it was awesome.
And I'm telling you, I think that tournament's going to do nothing but grow. And you can always say that you were the first winner, and that's always been great there. So
can't take that from us.
That's right, for sure. Well, Keller, hey, thanks for taking time out of your schedule to be with us tonight on such short notice. Good luck the rest of the year. Good luck with your conference tournament, and good Lord willing, we'll see it in Hammond for the regionals. And then after that, let's hope maybe even further.
Hey, I appreciate it, Lou. Appreciate you having me on, and thanks. And hopefully be seeing you soon.
All right. Thank you. He's Keller Sims, the head coach of the University of Arkansas, the men's Division II team, currently ranked, I believe, 9th. We're going to look at the rankings after the break, but they are ranked 9th in the country, or in the region, in the central region. And as we talked about it, it's no longer the top two teams getting the buys. It's a 2-day tournament. Each team's got to win 2 games to get to the nationals. And as he mentioned, you can't let off the gas pedal at all in that tournament now, especially as you can't take a period off or whatever, because you could find yourself in dire straits. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will go through those rankings as well, and a whole lot more coming up right here on the ACHA Power Play. It's live right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here. Hey, is there a ball game you want to go to last minute? How about the Spartans at Spartan Stadium? Go to the Big House to watch the Wolverines. Is there an NFL game you want to go to? Lambeau Field, Ford Field, wherever, Baltimore. How about the Tigers for the pennant drive? Well, go to SeatGeek. Get those tickets there. Use the promo code Captain Lou right on the screen, and you'll get $20 off of your purchase. It's that simple. So go to the Spartan game. Go to the Big House. But use the promo code Captain Lou at SeatGeek, and you'll be all set. That's right. If there's a game you want to go to, I know this commercial's kind of outdated, but if there is a game you want to go to tomorrow night, well, yeah, tomorrow night, who knows? Hockey, whatever, NBA, go to SeatGeek, use the promo code Captain Lou, and you'll get $20 off your purchase. How about Friday night, Michigan State basketball? I'm sorry about the pings. I can't figure out how to get that off of my computer with my chat group, a bunch of Michigan State fans watching that game. So anyways, thanks to Keller Sims, the head coach of Arkansas's men's D2 team, for joining us as they get ready for the stretch drive. Unfortunately, this weekend, their game's canceled against Oklahoma State, and last weekend, the weather against Maryville, but they still got a lot of action left with their MACA tournament. And then if everything holds up, they'll be down in Arkansas, or in Hammond, Indiana, or over wherever you might be at the Cube. Also want to take a moment to thank the folks from the University of Kentucky Hockey Club. Indeed, SEC just means more. It's a great product down there. It was so much fun seeing them in that tournament, seeing all the SEC teams, as Keller mentioned, seeing the Southern teams back, Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, you name it, Missouri. It was such a great tournament, a great atmosphere. Hope to be back there next year calling games again for that, as it indeed was a lot of fun. This got a note, got a text from the head coach of Calvin, Josh Petrusma. Their game tonight was originally scheduled to be at Davenport, postponed because of the poor weather. It's just the weather situation here in Michigan, is I'm sure everywhere, is it's nasty. The snow and the wind and the cold. They're rescheduling that game for tomorrow afternoon at Calvin at 2:45 in the after PM. So if you're in Grand Rapids and you want to see a great game, a matinee game tomorrow afternoon, go to the Eagles Ice Center in Grand Rapids and watch nationally ranked Calvin. I think they're ranked 10th in the country. They had a big weekend split last weekend with Adrian. So they played Davenport. Canceled tonight, but it's going to be rescheduled for tomorrow afternoon. All right. Let's talk about some of the rankings here. As we mentioned, the latest rankings, we always get these out about an hour and 15 minutes before we start our show. The women's D1 rankings are in, and no change at the top, as Liberty, again, the defending champ, still at number 1. Midland is at number 2. Maryville and Minot each move up a spot to 3 and 4, respectively. McKendree and Dearborn drop to 5th and 6th. Then you've got Adrian at 7, Arizona State at 8, Niagara at 9, Jamestown at 10, Miami at 11. That's Miami of Ohio. And then UMass at 12, Michigan State at 13, Indiana Tech at 14, and Michigan at 15. And congratulations to Michigan State. They played Michigan this past Sunday in an outdoor classic in Detroit. And boy, they must have bundled up for that, because it was cold for that one as well. But they won. Michigan State did 3-2 in their outdoor classic in Detroit. So, all right, let's. We mentioned when we were talking with Keller about the men's Division II rankings for the regions, and of course, I forgot my glasses are upstairs. The lettering is a little small, but see if we can go through them here. In the top teams in each division in the Central, you've got Lindenwood and St. Thomas, both at 1 and 2. These were released last week. And then you've got in the Northeast, you've got, oh my gosh, I can't even read that. How embarrassing is that? Listen, I can't enlarge it, can I? Let's see if I can enlarge this a little bit. Niagara. All right, boy, it's not fun getting old, let me tell you that much. Niagara, number 1, Farmingdale State, number 2, and St. Bonaventure at number 3. Those are the top teams. And then in the Southeast, you've got Ohio at 2, and you've got Florida Gulf Coast at 1, Ohio State at 3, Liberty at 4. And then in Division II, the West, you got Oklahoma State still at number 1, Weber State at number 2, Montana State at 3, and of course, I think that's Utah State at number 4. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing is that? Anyways, those are your top teams in men's Division 4. So as we talked about it, let's tell you, the regionals are coming up, by the way, February 20th through the 21st. So actually a little less than a month away, as they're going to be at 4 sites. The Central Regional is going to be Friday and Saturday, February 20th and 21st, at the Cube Sports Complex in Homewood Flosmer Ice Arena down in Hammond, Indiana, hosted by Purdue Northwest. Talked to their D1 coach last weekend, and Carl Trozian, and they're excited. Can't wait to bring that to everybody. Skating Center of Connecticut, and that's in Simsbury, Connecticut. That's going to be Saturday, Sunday, along with the Southeast Regional. That's going to be at the Queen City Sportsplex in Cincinnati. And in the West, that's going to be Friday, Saturday. That's going to be at the Salt Lake City Sports Complex, hosted by the University of Utah. And the Southeast region, their tournament is going to be hosted by the Tri-State Collegiate Hockey League. So again, as we've mentioned throughout the year, different rules this year, and Keller mentioned it, there are no buys now for the top 2 teams in each region. So it's going to be 2 days, kind of a bracketed tournament, if you will, winning or single elimination. You win 2 games, you're going to nationals. It's that simple. And like we said, there's probably going to be a couple of upsets in those tournaments. That's going to be fun for us, not so much fun for the teams that are involved. But, you know, it's, that'll be interesting to see how that all takes shape. Again, those are the weekend of February 20th and the 21st. 1 versus 16 and so on the first day. 8 games the first game, 4 games the second, to determine who's going to go to the national tournament. All right, let's go to the men's D3 or the men's D3 rankings. Those are a little bit easier to read. Middle Tennessee State, as they have been all year, ranked number 1. The Air Force Academy is ranked number 2. Actually, those aren't the latest rankings. We're going to see if I can bring those up. Maybe they are. I thought those were the latest rankings. Boy, oh boy. Man, I'm just not with it tonight. All right, let's see if we can't get the latest men's D3 rankings here. Okay, I guess they are. Never mind. We've got the Air Force Academy at number 2, South Florida at number 3, South Carolina at number 4, Oakland at 5, Calvin at 6, Central Maine Community College at 7, Tampa at 8, Tufts at 9, Clemson at 10, Dordt at 11, UMass at 12, and then you got Wentworth at 13, St. Vincent at 14, Grand Valley at 15, Omaha, Nebraska, Omaha at 16, and then Sacred Heart 17, Northwood 18, Lawrence Tech at 19. Those are the teams that are close to the national tournament. And let's get to the men's Division I rankings, the latest rankings. And Minot State still at number 1. You've got Ohio at 2, UNLV at 3, Drury at 4, Niagara at 5, Maryville at 6, Jamestown at 7. You've got Adrian at 8, Liberty at 9, Calvin at 10, Mary at 11, Utah at 12. A lot of these teams maybe moving 1 or 2 spots either way. Utah at 12, Grand Canyon at 13, Hope at 14, Purdue Northwest at 15, Grand Valley at 16, University of Arizona 17, Midland 18, Missouri State 19, Kentucky at 20, Westchester at 21, Stony Brook 22, Pitt 23, IU of Pennsylvania 24, and Indiana Tech at 25. And so you've got 8 automatic berths for that single elimination tournament. So again, as we mentioned, you probably want to stay, I would say, in the top 18 to 19 just to be safe. Now, these tournament winners or these auto berths are probably going to be teams already in the top 24, but you never know. There usually are a couple of teams that will get in, clinching their conference, either tournament or regular season, knocking one of these teams out. So again, that's you want to be safe, be in the top 18, 19, maybe 20th, and you don't have really anything to worry about the last weekend before they are revealing the national tournament pairings. So, and finally, in Women's Division II, again, Sioux College at number 1, Northern Michigan at number 2 in the Central region. Then you've got Providence in the Northeast, and you've got Boston College at number 2. And then in the women's, in the Southeast region, in Division II, Liberty is at number 1. The Navy's at number 2. And in women's D2, you've got Assiniboine College at number 1 and St. Thomas at number 2. And the defending champs, Sioux College, looking for a four-peat. They're at number 1 next week. We're going to have Megan Dubas, the head coach of Sioux College's women's team, stopping by. We'll talk a little Cougar hockey with her coming up next weekend. They're off to just an absolutely amazing start, outscoring their opponents, I think, like 123-5, something crazy like that. So we'll talk to her next week as well. But again, we're less than 2 months away. We're talking 38 days to puck drop for the whole national tournament. It's going to be in St. Louis, March the 12th through the 22nd, as it starts out with the right out of the chute, men's D2 starting things off the opening day on Thursday. They're going to go right through. They're going to go hand in hand, really, right through until championship weekend. The D2 teams get Sunday, March 15th off, and then they have their semis and their championship game on Tuesday, March the 17th. The men, 5 straight days, although remember, the top 8 teams get an automatic berth. Well, they get a bye in the first round. So that's a lot of these teams trying to jockey for position, not only to get a championship or get a spot in the national tournament, but they in D1, you want to get one of those top 8 seats. So you get the opening round off, you get to play, a second round game against the winner of the opening round, obviously. So they, in a way, get a day off. But so they go right through till Tuesday, March the 17th. Then women's Division I, they start off on Sunday, March the 15th. Or the women's D2, I beg your pardon. Women's D2 start with their pool play on Sunday, March the 15th. And then the men's Division III, they start off pool play on Wednesday, March 18th, same day as the women's 2 semis. And then women's D1 as well starts on Wednesday, March the 18th. The women's D2 championship game is on Thursday, March the 19th. The men's D2 and D1 championship games are on Tuesday, March the 17th. The D2 at 3:30, the D1 at 8, and then the women's D2 final, as I mentioned, Thursday, March the 19th at 5 o'clock. And then the men's and women's finals are both on Sunday, March the 22nd. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun that weekend, that whole 10 days. It always is. It's a great time. Great hockey if you're in the St. Louis area at Maryland Heights, Missouri for the national tournament. Again, starts on Thursday, March the 12th. And it's there's going to be, I think, 84 teams there in all 5 divisions. And check it out. It's they all leave it all out on the ice. It really is. It's their culmination. It's their Super Bowl. So again, really looking forward to being a part of that down in St. Louis again, broadcasting the games on Flow Hockey. So, but before that, as we mentioned, we still got a lot of hockey left in the regular season, as teams are now going to start, as Keller mentioned. Keller Sims, the head coach of Arkansas. Now we've got conference tournaments coming up here in February for a lot of the schools at all levels, from men's D1 to women's D2 and in between. Men's D3, the Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference tournament, precursor to the Nationals. Men's D3 doesn't have the regionals anymore. So that is kind of that's kind of their tune-up, if you will. A lot of other conferences are the same, as well as men's D1 with no regionals, obviously. So they've got their conference tournaments coming up in February. So a lot of exciting games coming up here in the next few weeks. As a matter of fact, let's see if we can take a look at men's Division I. Let's see what they've got coming up here, if I can bring that up. Let's see. On the fly here, how about that? Oh, I thought I had some here. Hit the wrong button. Which, again, magic of live TV, right? Let's do it to the end of January here. Weekend matchups here on Friday and Saturday. We scroll down the schedule in men's Division I, highlight some of the top teams in the country. Here's a rivalry game. Neither one of these teams are ranked, but how about Alabama and Kentucky, Southeastern Conference matchup? All right, let's see what we've got here. Grand Canyon in Arizona. There's that matchup of a couple of ranked teams this coming weekend. Let's go to Friday. I know Grand Valley and Calvin are going to do battle this weekend. Hope College, nationally ranked team, they're going to take on Aquinas. An old rivalry there between those two teams, now back both up in Division I. Lawrence Tech and Indiana Tech. That's going to be a big matchup as well. Here's one to keep an eye on: Stony Brook and Pittsburgh. Those two teams this weekend, not ranked, but they're vying for their conference tournament to try get positioning for that, maybe win that automatic berth to get into the national tournament. And then we've got U of Mary and Midland doing battle this weekend as well. Cleary and Northwood. That's one to keep an eye on there as well. Cleary having a wonderful year right now in men's Division I in the WAC conference. So we'll keep an eye on that. And Ohio and Niagara. There's a big matchup. Number 2, I think, against number 4. So that's the highlighted matchup there this weekend between those two teams. And then you've got just kind of scrolling up here real quick before we get to maybe some of the other divisions. Nevada, Las Vegas, and Oklahoma. That's going to be a big matchup, the defending national champions, that being Nevada, Las Vegas. We mentioned Calvin and Grand Valley, a matchup of a couple of ranked teams as well. So, all right, let's take a quick look at men's Division III. What do we got coming up there as far as big games this weekend? Farmingdale and Delaware, always a good matchup there. Air Force and Colorado Mesa, that ought to be a dandy. Nebraska, Omaha, and Illinois State. Yeah, just a lot of games, a lot of big matchups. Nebraska and Arkansas. These two teams always have a great matchup when they play each other. Aquinas and Western Michigan. Lawrence Tech and Grand Valley. There's a big matchup there. Those two teams right now close. They're on the outside looking in the top 16. But both of those teams trying to they're going to try to do battle to try to get one of the spots there for the national tournament. Well, we were waiting on the call from the executive director, Craig Barnett. We'll give him a few more minutes. Usually those are the things that happen on live radio. You just never know. So if he cannot make it, we'll try to reschedule him for next week. It's that simple. Not a big deal. All right. Again, we're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to give you the scoring leaders here in the ACHA. Or actually, before we go to break, let's take a look at some of the big games coming up on the women's side, shall we? Let's women's D1. It seems like they always have top 10 matchups every weekend. So let's take a gander at some of those this weekend. Let's go to Friday night. You've got Niagara and Liberty. That's going to be a huge matchup. Thursday and Friday they play. Indiana Tech and Adrian. Always a big matchup when those two teams play. McKendree and Maryville. They're going to play in Maryville this weekend. Let's see. Lindenwood and Miami. Another big matchup. Let's see. What else do we have here? Midland and Minot. There you go. Two of the top teams in the country again doing battle. That ought to be fun to keep an eye on as well. Michigan Dearborn and Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan making the jump this year from D2 to D1. Not quite obviously the success that they had last year, but right there as well. And then Utah and Colorado doing battle as well on Saturday. So in Jamestown and Minnesota, Michigan and Grand Valley, that's always a fun matchup as well. So some big matchups in women's Division I. All right, we're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, we will take a look at some of the scoring leaders and hope to catch up with the executive director of the ACHA, Craig Barnett. Right here, you're watching the ACHA Power Play on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here. Hey, is there a ball game you want to go to last minute? How about the Spartans at Spartan Stadium? Go to the Big House to watch the Wolverines. Is there an NFL game you want to go to? Lambeau Field, Ford Field, wherever, Baltimore. How about the Tigers for the pennant drive? Well, go to SeatGeek. Get those tickets there. Use the promo code Captain Lou right on the screen, and you'll get $20 off of your purchase. It's that simple. So go to the Spartan game. Go to the Big House. But use the promo code Captain Lou at SeatGeek, and you'll be all set. Right, if there's any game you want to go to, or even a concert for that matter, go to SeatGeek. Use the promo code Captain Lou, and you'll get $20 off of your purchase. It is that simple. All right, let's take a look at some of the scoring leaders in the ACHA Men's Division I. Leading goal scorer, Jake Laub from the University of Kentucky, 28 goals, 22 helpers for 50 points. Right up there amongst, obviously, he's the leading goal scorer in the country. Then you've got Nick Kutaya from Kent State with 27. Jake Rearick from IUP at 26. And then Cameron Sear of Rhode Island at 24. Connor Lemmerbrock from Cincinnati with 23. He's tied with Ryan Zambuco and also Shane Miller, all three with 23 points. George Smith and Andrew Murray and Ryan Morgan, they're at 22 points. That's the top 10. And the points leaders, again, this one's going to go to Robbie Zimmerman. He's got 36 helpers to go with the 17 goals, 53 points, leading the way. Cornell Kelbis from Kent State at 51, and Jake Laub right there at 50. All right, let's take a look at men's Division II for the scoring leaders. Goal scoring leaders, how about Charles Emmy from Concordia, or Charles Emmy, I'm sorry, from Concordia of Wisconsin. We called his name and number a lot when it scoring goals. He had such a wonderful goal in the regional tournaments a couple of years ago at Davenport. 41 goals, 26 helpers, 67 points. Makar Klokhoff from Weber State with 34 goals. Then you've got Matthew Ng from UCLA with 31, and then Corbin Roach from Oklahoma State at 29, along with Constantine DeChevy from Texas A&M with 29. There's a guy, you talk about some wheels, and he can put the puck in the net. Had a chance to see him in person at that showcase in Nashville. Keep an eye on him to get up there amongst the league leaders as well. Caden Nelson with 28 goals. Dominic DeZerkis from Eastern Washington with 28. Blake Brame from San Jose State. Logan Tripp from Schoolcraft College with 27. And those are some of your goal scorers in men's Division II. In men's Division III, Blake Gazer from the University of Nebraska, Omaha with 35 goals. Grant Dietz with 35 goals as well. Noah Domagowski from Olivet Nazarene with 27. Matthew Siciliano from Middle Tennessee State at 25. Rowan Vaughn from Kansas at 25. And Ryan Veenstra at 24. And Jacob Duhame from South Florida at 22. All right, one more thing, a little bit of business. There was an announcement this past week here in the state of Michigan anyways. The GL6, they're going to have another league as well. They have their teams in Division I. Now they're going to add a league in Division II. Some great news there, as it's going to be all right, where did it go? You're going to have Calvin. You have Calvin's making the jump next year from D3 to D2. You got Schoolcraft. You're going to have Davenport, Purdue Northwest, Trine, and Adrian. That's going to be one monster conference again next year. Really excited to be able to be a part of that next year at the D2 level. So, all right, that's going to do it. Unfortunately, Craig must have had something happen or he just got tied up. We'll see if we can't get him on next week, along with Megan Dumas, the head coach of Sioux College. But hey, thanks to Keller Sims for taking time out tonight. You know, fresh off his move, he's moved into a new home and then dealing with all that nasty weather down there, as is happening all over the country. For those of you that are dealing with it, you know, our hearts are out for you. And again, be safe. Enjoy the hockey this weekend. The road to St. Louis. We're 38 days away from puck drop. Can you believe it? Just seems like yesterday we were talking about it being 6 months away. But it's going to be here before we know it. Great games this weekend. Have fun. Enjoy them. Be safe. And we appreciate everybody taking time out to be with us here on the Power Play. However you watch us around the world here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Again, for Keller Sims, yours truly, Captain Lou, saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long.